Buckle up, buckle tight, we're going. It's like a building, right? When they blow up buildings, they take out the foundation, everything starts to collapse down. We're in the midst of that. If you do this, if you shift into what I'm going to share with you today, you could possibly see this entire situation on the planet and everything that happens from here on out completely different. It could be so enlightening for you. It could shift you into a new space, because that is possible. But I'm going to talk about zero tolerance. I hope you watched that video. If not, go watch it. What is zero tolerance? What's happening now? How are we behaving differently? What is going to happen from this moment forward? We're going to talk about all of that. Come with me again. Don't miss what I'm about to share with you. Let's go. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live an amazing life. What's happening? What hasn't happened? First of all, let me just state the obvious. What's going on may be new to you, but it's not new to planet Earth. Planet Earth has gone through these cycles many, many times. Now here's what's going to happen. I'm going to share with you the one thing that is happening right now, and it's probably going to be our swan song, our finale. Now, not in your lifetime, not to worry. In your lifetime, the planet's still going to be here. We go through cycles as tests to correct the things that we have not dealt with in the past. Now, I talked about February of 2022 was this insane month. And what I realized looking at my friends and what they're going through and what was happening with me, all these just weird things happening with time and schedules and illnesses and old situations coming back. We are having our own teachings put back in our face in order to react differently. It's a new opportunity to take what we didn't resolve or that isn't working and to change it. The planet is no different. So when we don't handle things very well and, eventually, illnesses clear up, global pandemics, the economy returns to some kind of existence. I don't know if normal is even a word in that context. But what happens is we go back into this behavior until which time did you see my video about the boomerang effect? Comes back around because it has not been dealt with. And that's the reason we came here. So if you came here to do something and you don't do it, it's not going to go away. It's going to keep presenting itself until you handle it, right? It's like anything out there. If you don't fix it, it's going to get worse. The sink's going to clog. It's going to back up. Eventually, it's going to flow over into the room and spew all the garbage that has been pushed down in it. What's happening right now? The garbage is spewing up. We've been pushing it down in, and it's backing up, and there's no little Drano that you put in there that's going to clear this up, baby. Put on your seatbelt. So, once again, what doesn't work? What doesn't work? How we handle our bodies and our health. So it was in our face. That would have never happened if we had a planet that respected all beings, our health, and we were doing things naturally and used our own abilities, because we have the ability to heal ourselves. None of that would have happened. It would have been impossible. So that was a tipping point in your face. What's the next thing? Oh, always the finances. It has never worked. Something's wrong with a system that bottoms out, comes back, bottoms out, makes people extremely rich, makes people extremely poor. That is not a healthy financial system. That shouldn't even exist. And it's highly manipulated, right? So anytime you have power and money, it always has some kind of corruption involved. Now, what's happening? We have a chance with all of these things to completely change our response and get it right. It starts with our health. So instead of running around and trying to patch everything that doesn't resolve the issue, we now have an opportunity to get to the root of why these things happen, how we handle the solutions, the healing, and what we are going to do every day that is going to change how we live with our health, our foods, how we treat our plants out there. You know, that's really a violation when you're putting chemicals on beautiful plants. You're killing them. It's the same thing with us. We're putting things in our body that are killing other parts of our body to heal this, and then this suffers for it. It's insanity. We have an opportunity to change all of it. It's in our face. Second thing, the financial industry, of course, has to undergo changes. What goes up must come down. It doesn't have to be that way. When you go into an awakened state, and I know many of you are, and there are different levels of that, it's never ending, by the way. There's never one space you go to that, oh, you finally achieved it. When you go to a higher awakened state, like anything else out there, you don't do this. Oh, I'm happy, oh, I'm unhappy, oh, I'm happy, oh, I'm happy, because that is the human being that relies on the material world to make it happy. So when that's not working, they're unhappy because they're looking for something outside themselves to make them happy. All right? I'm going to share with you the one amazing, huge thing that could take you through all of this, transform you, and get you into that super high level. Now, you're still going to experience being a human being. We don't get out of that. So we don't get out of being human beings. We are here to experience emotion, sadness, loss, love, all those things on a completely different level that appears to be limited. It's actually not. Now, what's awakening? We wake up to the fact that we aren't these bodies. We're the energy field that created the bodies. Now, here is the critical key thing. As we come back around and your own personal things are going to come back in your face, how are you going to handle it this time? Now, the planet's coming back to the same issues because we haven't handled it properly, let's just say in a high frequency manner. How are you going to handle it this time? Are you going to transform? Because this never has to come back. We never have to get sick again, and we never have to have poverty and extreme wealth up and down, all right? Trying to guess the next stock, it's ridiculous. We're still chasing the old habits that don't work. It's the outside world. You can have everything you've ever wanted, imagined as a high frequency being. Those requirements change. You're happier. You have more abundance in the things that are important, and therefore you share it. You never feel lack. You never feel fear or threatened. The fears that you will feel as a human being with what I'm about to tell you just come by as old triggers for old habits and energy fields that you've created through your experiences. You'll no longer react to them. Now, come on over to Manifest Anything. It's free. I have a free mini-series, and my teachings are going to help you to move past the fear and break through it. If you really want to dig deep into your fears, break through them. That's the only thing stopping you from going into this space of celebrating what's happening out there. Why? Because you're telling yourself a story, and it's just your story. You can say it's the world, but it's not. It's your story about the world. What is going to happen right now for so many people already is happening. This one huge thing. Zero tolerance, if you watch my video, means that we don't tolerate certain behavior in our own energy field. We don't allow it in. We have no judgment. We have no blame. We have no separation. I still heard some comments over that, spewing about somebody, how bad they were. That was not the purpose of the videos that I'm doing. The purpose of the video is to show you that we don't have to blame or separate anymore, but we have to take control of our own energy field and decisions. That means if someone violates your ethics and just say your beliefs and things that you're doing, then you have to make a decision for yourself, right or wrong. It doesn't mean you're right. I'm all spiritual. Not necessarily if you're thinking they're bad. Understand the lesson in it and say, okay, I'm no longer going to allow this situation into my energy field. I'm drawing a line. I have zero tolerance for it now because I have more important things to move on to. I bless you, but now that lesson that came back around for you, or it really did come back around, it comes in different forms, is now going to be dissolved, or somebody felt really bad for just shutting a negative person off. I said, don't feel bad. It's difficult to walk away from people that appear to need help, but they will change them. They have the total power to change themselves. I want you to understand that. And if they know you're there for them, but you don't tolerate them, you're not an enabler anymore, they will be more likely to make the change. So there's a whole bunch of people out there that are going to lose a lot of friends because they're not changing their behavior, right? They always find fault in somebody else. I'm not talking about, I'm not talking about your opinion. I'm talking about they always have a problem if you're not behaving or acting the way they want you to. And don't you be that person either. Sometimes you just have to walk away and say, I love you, but you know what, this doesn't work. It stresses me out, and I shouldn't be stressed out because I'm in control of my own feelings, which means, why am I inviting that in? All right, so you're ready for this? So you go into zero tolerance. And as we move into all the things that are in our face to change, we have to have a different response. So if you're out trying to find the next big stock and, whatever investments or whatever, nothing's changing. Nothing's changing. Because that is going to be up and down, and no expert's going to know what's going to happen, right? They can predict. Somebody might get lucky. Of course, there's always somebody who predicts something that happens. So that doesn't mean they have the answers. Yes, you should always look to protect yourself as much as possible in a material world, but if you're going into panic and fear, then you're not going to make very solid decisions. But if you focus on this one thing, you will start to make decisions that will change what's going on out there, and your life will start to align in amazing ways. Now, what I want you to understand is I'm not talking about frou-frou, like I'm going to sit here and meditate. I'm talking about quantum physics right now. Why do people not believe that their thought is a thing and it's changing? It's changing whatever you're focused on. So whatever you're focused on right now, it's critical that you do not focus on blame, separation, or all of the other things that have kept us in the same cycle. Now, what are we going to do about this? The critical piece right now, and I told you I was going to take you to advanced stuff, is to go into oneness. Not, oh, kumbaya, yay, let's all, no. I told you there's zero tolerance. You don't want anybody in that circle who's doing, cray-cray stuff. What I want you to understand is that if you go into a space knowing that your thought is now affecting everything in the universe, our universe, you will now start to make different choices. When you know we are one, you realize that the person that you just drew a line with is you. Not you, the person. This is where we get confused. Me. So that's Landria? No. That's the energy form that created Landria, and that's the energy form that created the other person. And they are not separate. The perceived bodies, humans, they appear to be separate. They're just another expression of the one energy. So if you are separating yourself, blaming, going into fear, you are affecting all of those things and becoming entangled with it, and therefore that boomerang is going to keep coming back to you because you haven't figured out that that's you out there, that that's an energy field. It's not an accident. It is not chaos. There's no chaos in the universe. Everything, even chaos, is organized. That you out there is playing out something for its own experience within the oneness, and also for you. So we want it to go away. We want them to stop, and we want everybody to behave the way. I want everybody to be awake. And by the way, I know your heart goes out for that. I know your intentions are good. But that's still the ego wanting somebody to be different. Why do they have to awaken? Maybe their purpose is to come here and be the best teacher for other people by being a jackass. Right? How do we learn unless we have that in our face? So if you're still wanting other people to awaken, what if my family stays? What is spaceship going to come and get you? I know there's some stuff out there where people, yes, a spaceship's going to come, they're going to go to another planet. Still thinking material. Nothing's material. Everything is an intelligent energy field, and that's it. And what we do within those energy fields is, on our planet, free will. That means that you can do anything with your energy field, which means if you want to change anything in your life, you have got to shift that belief and thinking and know that I am thinking separate. I'm thinking blame. I'm thinking poor me. I'm thinking it shouldn't be this way. And when you do that, you're calling the one source wrong. You're calling it wrong. It made a mistake because that other thing that you think that person did wrong, that is the source, you believe is somehow different to you and wrong. And that's not unconditional love. Now, if you can't go into unconditional love, which is the ultimate test here, can you love that? Can you still love that? Draw your line. Be there for them. When they decide that they're no longer going to behave a certain way, it may be because you accepted them. You accepted the fact that they're making those choices and that are destructive. But your unconditional love is what changes them, not blame or separating. That zero tolerance is not separation. I cannot express this enough, and if you're not clear on zero tolerance, watch the video again. Because it is not about separation. It is about creating a new world wherein we don't tolerate the abuses, but we will be here and accept and love those for their choices. Therefore, they will live in a world where there will be abuses to one another and whatever, until which time they decide they're not invited into this world, until they choose to act and be a certain way and go into respect and love and unconditional love themselves, because they don't have unconditional love. Those people are living in fear. I had a video about narcissists. So many people didn't get that. I wasn't talking about sociopaths and abusers and people that beat you up. I was talking about people who are so self-serving to an extreme. All they're doing is coming from a place of fear that I'm not okay, so I have to be loved and everything has to be my way. I have to control it. And that's an extreme version of the ego, and it's called a narcissist. Neither good nor bad. If you're with one, there must be a part of you that was attracted to that. What are we going to do now? If you go into, I am now the energy field that created this personality, that can change anything here, that is the thought that affects everything out there, that the belief, the action, the thought is entangled with the very thing I think of. Therefore, what I think about that thing, I am directly affecting the results. We must react differently this time. Instead of trying to, keep the money, let's make a killing now so that when we come out of this, there's no coming out of this. This world will never be the same again. That's a good thing. I want you to celebrate it. All those phases that we went through is because those things that we have in place, those foundations, don't work. They're not stable. They're going away. They're dissolving, and they will dissolve as long as we don't fuel them. Right? As long as we don't fuel them. Start making different choices. And you might say, well, financially, how do I do that? No one can predict what's going to happen. You have to start thinking about you, your lifestyle, what you're doing for a living, how you're earning, because as long as you continue that on, you will not be in a state that's vulnerable. You guys know that I've been, it's like I've been setting us up for what's coming, right? And I knew what was coming. Everybody knew it was coming. People just don't want to believe it. Technology, skills, training you how to create something that you control, you own yourself, and you have knowledge and skills so that you can go out there and be the change. And take care of yourself financially, whatever that's going to mean. I told you eventually our monetary system is going to dissolve. I've been saying that for a while now. Big whoop, everybody knows that, right? It's a matter of when. It's not a bad thing. It hasn't worked. Now, if you are in control of your feelings, your thoughts, what you're doing out here, you will go into a space of total peace and excitement and celebration, because you know that now your life has a completely different meaning, and it's not survival anymore. It's being here in the most critical time on this planet, and that you have an amazing purpose, and that is to change how we function out there, how we function with one another, what we're contributing. And that's what you're here for, is what am I doing to contribute to a peaceful planet? And that means everything I do. I said, if you want to make a difference on the planet, look under your kitchen sink. It's probably loaded with chemicals. And you're going in there meditating and spewing chemicals all everything that's cancerous, and plants that make that stuff. We have to make big changes here. It starts with you. It is not out there. It's here. It's right here. We are 100% one energy, controlling everything. We're controlling the matrix program. It's organic. It is intelligent. It is us. It is our thoughts and our behaviors. The matrix is not a program imposed on us. It is our thoughts and behaviors. And whatever happens in the matrix is us directing the program. Does this make sense? We're directing the program. And the more of us shift into other things, then we have things going on here, and then a new world over here, and then respect, and then restoration of the planet, and over here other things are going. The matrix program changed because we chose. Or we can stay here and keep doing the same, silly things we've been doing for centuries. But we know that's not going to work, and that we will eventually destroy the planet doing that. Go into oneness. That is me. My thoughts affecting that. Your computer. You can affect your computer. They did studies where they had people focus on a specific color or design or whatever, and they randomly ran them, and those on the computer that the group was focused on would appear more and more and more. There's an experiment where there's a random light in a box, dark box with a plant in the corner, random light, computer, they didn't do anything, and eventually the light starts to go more and more and more over to the plant. Why? Because the intelligent plant was willing it. Not, you will come to me. It was a desire. And therefore, the energy field that was random, isn't random, came over to the plant. This is true stuff. I have experiment after experiment after experiment, and people walking around like this stuff doesn't exist. You have amazing, unbelievable power. Now come on over, take Move Past Fear. That's a 2-hour master class that I shot a while back. I'm going to shoot a new one, plus some trainings, videos, and practices to keep you in check and out of fear, to move past it. It's going to exist on the planet. I have Breakthrough Fear, 5-star course. Come on over. I have free videos here. I have free videos here to start online businesses. What else do you need? What more can we do? We're in control. We just have to learn how to use it. And so it's not easy to break those negative habits. But I know you're capable. And it feels really good to break them. Are you ready to come over? I hope you'll subscribe and share this, because the more people that recognize they hold that power, the more they'll use it in a positive way, because they'll realize there is no lack. No one is ever a threat. I can never expire. I always was and I always will be, because I'm not the body. We're going to go advanced here on my channel. I hope you'll stay with me. We're going to keep talking about this, because we're going to need to. I'm using the N word. I know we don't need anything. We need one another. We need to stick together. We need to use and recognize our powers to make the kind of change that I know that you desire. So stay tuned. We got more good stuff. I'm going to explore this further and further. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.